Elvis.
It doesn't seem so 30 years since he died. No, can't believe it's 30 years this year.
Meet Sue and Tommy, the ultimate Elvis fans. They have a dream and would move mountains to make their dream come true. The first thing they have to get over, however, is the Atlantic Ocean. We catch up with them in Blackpool, where they're attending an Elvis convention.
We met in Burnley.
Met in Burnley. I used to go to Burnley at Lancashire branch of the Elvis fan club. Used to be based in Burnley back then. And they held discos once every 3 months, which I used to travel from Southport to attend. And Sue lived in Burnley at the time, and so we sort of met there, and that's how it started. Aye, it's thinking 8 weeks we'll be over there.
7 weeks and we'll be married.
Yeah, there somewhere, way out there.
When?
8 weeks' time, we'll be flying right over there.
Right over there we'll be Memphis. Is that where we're going to Memphis?
That's the way, baby, that way over there. Well, both big Elvis fans.
These are all my collection of my CDs of Elvis. This is my Elvis clock. I have Elvis's glasses case. I've got Elvis's teapot. This is all these on my fridge, freezer and washing machine and dryer.
It was through Elvis that we met.
Yeah, Elvis brought us together.
13 years ago, which was what, 17 years after Elvis died. So really it was quite phenomenal, really, wasn't it?
Yeah. We've had this planned over a year now. We planned it last year, our wedding. So we got in touch with the fan club, was it? Yeah, we got in touch with the fan club, and they sorted it all out for us.
Well, with Susan being out of work for so long, and my job sort of plummeted, well, we had to sell the house that we lived in, and unfortunately, but at least now we look back with regret, but in the same way, life goes on, and this is our future. So far we've been hanging around Graceland most of the time, soaking up the atmosphere. And the atmosphere down there is phenomenal because that's where everybody is. Everything's happening down there, and the atmosphere, it's not just English or American, it's totally international. It's just absolutely brilliant. All for one reason, Elvis Presley.
Yeah. A very dream come true.
Unfortunately, we've had to lose a lot to get here. But that's the way it goes. We just can't afford
I'm glad to be here for help with Elvis, to be married with Elvis, because I brought up with Elvis, and I'm so glad to be with him, to do it with him.
We're here because I'm getting married on Saturday, and I haven't bought a suit with me. I'd rather hire one over here. So right now I'm at the New York Suit Exchange, and I'm going to buy a suit off them for the wedding. I've not brought Sue with me today because I'd like her to be surprised to see what I'm wearing, just as much as I'd be surprised to see what she's wearing. So it'd be nice for us both to look at each other and think, wow. So I've left her at the hotel. Oh dearie me.
Hello. Hello. I thought you got lost.
No, it's okay. Right, got my stuff what I needed.
Oh, very good.
I'll just put things down a minute. Here, right.
Does it fit you okay?
Yes, it's fine. Perfect. Now then, let's get this bag off me. Get that bag off me, please. Thank you. And I got you your wedding present just here.
Oh, thank you,
got one of each, one for each of us. So I hope you like it. Okay.
I don't want to see it, so I get married.
No, it's best to get this now.
All right. Oh, darling, thank you.
That's for you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you very much.
With the wedding just days away, Sue has got the mean woman blues. The hotel is not up to their expectations. Thankfully, tour organiser David Wade is on hand to help.
Hi, you're right.
Yeah, I'm coming.
Nice to meet you, Dave.
Really sorry about the hassle you've had. I don't know whether you must know, you must have heard and been listening to what's been said, but Memphis is in virtual meltdown. They weren't expecting this number of people for the 30th anniversary, and I'm going to move you folks out today, and I'm going to take you down to Tunica, which is the gambling resort just outside of Memphis, where I've got you a room at the Hollywood Casino Hotel, which is lovely.
Thank you very much.
Well, thanks very much for your understanding.
Yes,
and we'll make sure that it's going to be a very, very special day and special holiday
Thank
for
you
you.
very
That
so
I promise.
much. Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Memphis, Tennessee may be in meltdown, but few are noticing. Fans have traveled from every corner of the globe to share their love for Elvis. To get to the heart of Elvis, where better to begin than his hometown? Sue and Tommy visit Tupelo, Mississippi, birthplace of the man who would be king.
I think once they're into the house.
Yes, we're into the house. Yes.
Whilst the fans have their profound love and admiration for Elvis, the people who knew him intimately have their own special memories.
And I walked into the room, and he was sitting there with a few of his friends, and he got up, and he was such a gentleman. It was hard to believe, you know, you'd hear all these stories, but he was just nice, and damn, he was good looking. I mean, it was unbelievable to see this guy sitting there and even more beautiful in person than on the screen, if that could even, you know, be possible.
I was in Las Vegas, and he came out of the New Frontier Hotel, and he had this beautiful black leather jacket on and pants, and I wanted to trip him. But I didn't. So anyway, I was introduced, but I didn't really know ever that I was going to end up doing a film with him.
My life is so much surrounded about Elvis, even now, 30 years after he's gone, that Elvis is a big, big part of my life, and it means a lot to me that I became friends with this man that very few people could ever say they lived the life I ever led.
Does your memory stray to a bright summer day when I kissed you and called you sweetheart?
We went down to Graceland for the candlelight vigil. We arrived at 11:15, joined the queue, and we didn't actually get to the graveside till just after 5 o'clock. It wasn't until just after 6 o'clock when we actually finally left the grounds. So we've been up all night, queuing up all night, but it's well worth it. It's very emotional.
Yeah, it was.
It just made all these miles and all this queuing and all the hassle we've had worth it.
Still to come on Marrying Elvis, Priscilla recalls her big day.
So we snuck into Vegas early in the morning and got our marriage license, and then went right to the Aladdin Hotel. Both of us extremely nervous. Elvis extremely nervous.
Plus, the Graceland dream starts to come true for Tommy and Sue.
Glad you're with us today. Are you nervous?
I'm very nervous here.
Well, now don't be. We're going to get you through it, let me tell you.
Whilst Tommy and Sue prepare for their wedding, Memphis plays host to other lovebirds.
We were actually met on 30 years ago, the night that Elvis died. We were married 5 years later, and now it's our silver wedding this year at Elvis's 30th anniversary of his death.
Chapel in the Woods, in Elvis's Graceland's grounds.
Well, 30 years when we first met was actually sort of in a nightclub. I was 19-year-old, young, virile man, just sort of enjoying myself, and sort of Judith was another one of many that I really liked.
I suppose he was just young, he was just one of the guys at the time. Yeah. And then he grew on us.
We just enjoyed ourselves, really. That was it. It wasn't anything sort of, oh God, this, that and the other. It was like, let's have a look out. We went out a few times and just sort of, just hit it off. So it wasn't like, I want that. It was just, it worked. It was a friendship that developed, I guess.
Apart from like the night we met in the nightclub, the reason why I think we did keep together was because of rock and roll, because it was a local rock and roll club that we used to meet in. That nightclub could have just disappeared after that night, but he was in the same rock and roll club as I then went to, and I think that's how it kept, didn't it?
Yeah, we used to go to the dances. There was a couple on every week, someone different every month in different towns, and we used to go to the dances where you had 200 or 300 people, all in the 1950s regalia, just dancing away. That was fantastic. When we actually did get married, it was actually in Judith's village, where she actually lives. The church now, this year, is just going to be pulled down, believe it or not. It's sort of rack and ruin. And we've been living in that village ever since, all of our 25 years of marriage. Okay.
Yeah, we have.
Yeah. I'm a 50s music, American 50s music fan, but Judith is the Elvis fan.
Yeah, and I'd always wanted to come to Graceland. This is my 3rd time here, and the only thing I'd missed out on was the chapel in the woods. And with it being our silver wedding, that was like as good a reason as any to come. So this year I've fulfilled everything there at Gracelands, I think I have anyway. Well, with it being our silver wedding, if we'd been in England, we would have done a celebration, which we probably do when we go back. But it was like, I think it was a special way to do it. And I think that chapel in the woods just was the reason why. Yeah.
It was with Judith being a big Elvis fan, you get the tour of Gracelands. What you never ever see is the chapel. Now we're actually buying that privilege to actually use the chapel. Probably the setting of the chapel in the woods in Graceland is really sort of the unique sort of feature about it is it's not just any chapel, it is the Graceland's Elvis
and
chapel.
I wanted to see why that chapel had been built there, why it's there for, like, what's to do with Elvis of why it is there.
And even now, like, we're making some surprises for ourselves because we've actually asked them to play whatever music they think is suitable as opposed to us picking the records.
When we approached, they said you can pick your own Elvis love songs, or if you've got your own special music, you can bring it with you. So they're going to come up with Elvis love songs, I imagine so. Yeah. Like I say, I am the Elvis fan, and well, he's just a part of the daily life. I have Elvis on the house, I have Elvis pictures, yeah. Elvis, just, I don't know what it means to him every day.
The thing that I like about Elvis was he was the original punk rocker. He was the renegade, and sort of all his rockabilly rebel music was the stuff that I really liked. And so, like, you know, these songs like Paralysed and things like that was sort of what I really liked, and that's what sort of really got me into sort of the 50s music, you know.
But I was just actually brought up with Elvis because my older brother, he's 7 years older than me, and he's just like as Elvis mad. My parents both liked Elvis, so really I've just been brought up with it, you know what I mean? It's been in the household all the time. When I was about 8, I think I fell in love with Elvis, yeah. And then it's just something, even my son and my daughter now is both Elvis fans. The boy not so much, but the daughter even like knows everything.
Mr. Lansky's.
Oh, Lansky, huh? Oh, we saw that before. That's where Liz was going to buy that bag from before, wasn't it, Lansky's? I think it's got to be his songs. His songs are really good. His films, yeah, and he's like just good looking, isn't he?
I think somebody else said a good one the other day. It was really, he's the original showman. His showmanship was, he had the personality to deliver the goods to the people. Yeah.
And all these many people can't be wrong, can they?
Yeah.
Oh, we'll see if we can go that one. That's all done in purple, isn't it? I like them crystal ones, but that's nice. Oh, look at the little dog. Oh, we'll see if we can go on this one.
Will you guys hop in?
Oh, this is a nice one, isn't it? Oh, it's still warm, isn't it?
Yeah, fantastic.
Well, I think it's a good atmosphere because everybody's here for the same reason. It's only like because of Elvis that they're here. Or otherwise they've wasted a lot of money being here if they're not, aren't they? Yeah, I think the atmosphere is good at the minute. Will be tonight.
It's one of the things that you can't buy in life, you have to experience it. It really is, it's sort of just one of those.
It is an experience.
You've got to live it and you've got to be part of it. And I guess, to me, only the Americans could do it. Oh, hang on, there's a Stutz Black Hawk.
See how a car takes priority.
Sorry,
you and your cars.
25 years later, we've now got a son who's almost 22-year-old, a daughter who's 16 going on 21-year-old. Just sort of completely just, I suppose now sort of fulfilling a lot of the dreams that you really wish you had the money to do when you were younger. You know, we brought those up and they've got all of the opportunities to come. Just brilliant. called High Gorgeous.
High
but it's
Gorgeous?
number 1,475.
Down that way. Yeah, this it would be 0.
That's where we're going on the morning to get our hair done, aren't we?
It's as far as you can go then. Truth, we don't know the order of ceremonies as we speak for the renewal process, so we can imagine what's going on. So we bought each other new rings, especially for the occasion type of thing. And I guess it's just the commitment to the next 25 years if we live that long. When we do come to Memphis, we've been a couple of times, and we sort of have met some colleagues over the last couple of years that every year we now sort of have like got together as really an extended family group. It's absolutely fantastic meeting them once a year just over here. We're probably sort of still together because I take no notice of her whatsoever.
That's terrible, isn't it?
As Mick and Judith prepare to renew their vows, down the road at the Heartbreak Hotel, Catherine and Bill recall their special Graceland memories.
We're Bill and Catherine from Romford in Essex, and we come over for the 25th anniversary, the last big anniversary of my parents. While we was here, we found out that they'd opened a chapel over at Graceland where you could get married, and we'd been together for a few years, and Catherine kind of hinted to me, oh look, you can get married at Graceland. So I kind of took that as a hint to propose, so I proposed to her on the 25th, and we got married on the 26th anniversary, well, a couple of days before, on the 14th of August, over at Graceland.
In the morning I was taken away to have my hair done and everything with my mum, and came back and got ready, and we were collected and just taken across the road to the chapel to get ready, and everybody else had to walk across in the blistering heat.
And she appeared on Memphis News, didn't you?
Yeah, there was cameras here, and I got on the local news as well. And then we had the ceremony over in the chapel, had lots of photographs. We had our photographs taken on the steps of the mansion in front of the house.
Yeah, all the tour buses were stopped. You can imagine people had spent, 20, 25 years waiting to see Graceland, and they were stuck in the tour bus while we was having our wedding photos done, which was quite funny.
Trying to take pictures of us, saying we've never seen anyone get married here before.
Well, it's a wonderful experience, and it's not tacky. They insist that you can't dress as Elvis, you can't put an Elvis t-shirt on, so it's a proper ceremony. It's proper nice. It's
reverend, isn't it?
It's proper reverend.
Official.
So and people just, I don't know, Elvis is, love me tender and stuff like that. It's,
If you're an Elvis fan, it's a must, really.
Yeah.
We met nearly 3 years ago at an Elvis show. It was to meet Charlie Hodge in Stoke, which was really ironic because we both come from London and we met in Stoke. But at the time I was living in Essex and Brian was living in Devon. So I know we've kind of come together and we're back in London almost. So.
Meet Brian and Sandra. Today they're the first to arrive at Graceland. Reason being, Brian has one big surprise for Sandra.
Well, Sandra, I brought you to Graceland, where Elvis lived, through good times and bad, where he laughed, where he cried, but mainly where he loved. Alright? So in terms of our love, we know this is the man that brought us together, okay? And so in this place where Elvis loved and has been loved by so many others, I wanted to declare my love for you. Yeah. Sandra, will you marry me? Thank you. And it fits. And it fits.
I had no idea. It was a complete surprise. But a lovely one.
I love you too.
It's surreal, absolutely amazing. I can't believe it. I've always wanted to be here and to come now and with Brian and this as well, it's fantastic. It's so special.
I've kept this to myself for so long. I've kept that to myself for so long.
Oh,
it's been torture, and it fits. Thank you. You make me the happiest man alive.
Me too.
I didn't want to plan it. I didn't want it to be all false. They just came to me last night. The planning has been with David, you know, emailing Graceland, getting the permission, hooking up you guys over the week, which hasn't been easy. But the words just came to me last night. I knew really, you know, what I wanted to say, but how, it was, you know, I wanted to do it quite fresh, you know, on the day.
I'm looking forward to telling everybody, because for ages people keep asking us, don't they?
Yeah.
When are you two going to get married? Because a lot of our friends are. So when people ask that question, I just don't know what to say. Well,
But of course,
they won't ask anymore.
For months I've known what I'm going to do, and I'm like, it's just been so painful, the wait. Everyone keep asking, and I can see Sandra's eyes go to the floor when she's asked, and it's relief now, it's out, you know. You didn't say anything to me.
I'm really shocked. Can't believe it. I've always wanted to come. This is a dream come true, and now it just makes everything even more special. It means the world to me to be here with Brian and doing all this as well. It's an absolute world to me. I'll never forget it. Love you.
But one of the very few times in my life I feel very special. You know, we're just ordinary Joes who go about our business, their everyday lives, try to do our best, play by the rules, you know, do the right thing. And suddenly it's all worth it. You know, suddenly it's playing by the rules has worked. The good guys won, you know. That's how I feel.
Looks good right there. Excellent, guys. Hey.
Yeah, right, go. All right. Good.
This time it rains. It's a token of tender emotion. And in this pool of love.
And I'm so glad you're here. Take your bouquet here in this main honor, please. And Nick and Judith, I would like for you to turn and face each other and hold hands. They brought their lives together in holy matrimony. And this afternoon, now they're here before God and before you to renew their vows. So Mick, I would like for you to look into your wife's eyes, and I ask you, do you continue to love and to cherish in sickness and in health?
There's a lot of love around in Memphis. But back in 1959, a romance was beginning in Wiesbaden, Germany. Joe Esposito was there.
I was there the day he met Priscilla. There was this guy in the Air Force that was a friend of Elvis's, and he was telling her about this beautiful young lady that he knew, and she wanted to meet him. So one evening he brought her over to the house, and there was a bunch of us in the house, just like we always hung out. And Priscilla came in the door, and this beautiful young lady walked in, and this cute little navy dress, very beautiful, and walked in, and Elvis walked up to her, did the same thing he did to me, you know, and introduced himself, and I could tell she was a little nervous, which I don't blame her. And they started talking. He took her on the side by himself, and they talked for a long time, and basically that's how it all started. Later on that evening, he sat at this piano and played a lot of oldies but goodies songs, and they got together, and that's how the whole thing started.
When Elvis went to Germany, it was obvious that he could have had the pick of any German girl that was in town. But when he was introduced to Priscilla, this charming, young, vivacious child, if you will, he was besotted with her. He was fascinated with her. He thought she was wonderful. And when he went back to the United States, Priscilla, I think, expected to be brought over very, very quickly, but it was some time before Elvis had either got Priscilla's parents to agree for her to come to live at Graceland. And of course, I think the original deal was that she lived with Vernon Presley and his new wife. and didn't live in Graceland, but in real terms, she lived in Graceland.
I was always the girl hidden, really. I stayed and lived at Graceland. I came out to Hollywood, oh my gosh, quite a few times, and I would continue probably more and more so the more he would go. I would either join him or he would ask me to come out.
I don't think she had any friends within the camp. In fact, I think that the Memphis Mafia were fiercely jealous of the situation she was in. And I think they conspired, maybe not too deliberately, but in their own minds, to keep her at bay so that she didn't exert any control over their master, if you will.
There was that threat that if you married, that would be the end of your career. If you married, you know that the fans are no longer going to be interested in you. So that was the bane of my existence, obviously, and I think the threat to him. Even though there was a lot of care, I think that when you have something like that thrown into you, those are things you need to consider, especially at that time. He was on the cover of every magazine, on every tabloid at that time.
Elvis and Priscilla talked about the year before they got married, about getting married, and they're the ones that really, you know, like people say, oh, Colonel made Elvis get married because he's been going out with this girl all these years and stuff like that. So, no, it was just Elvis and Priscilla decided to get married. And then he went and talked to Colonel about it, and he helped set it up, and I helped set it up, and that's how it was.
I think there was pressure on Elvis to marry Priscilla. Priscilla had been moved into Graceland on what would be technically underage. You know, she was only 16 when she came from Germany and moved into Graceland. Jerry Lee Lewis, of course, had had a tremendous amount of bad publicity by marrying his 14-year-old cousin, or 13, I think she was. And it was one of those things that I think Colonel Parker took control of the situation and said, I think, you know, you really should get married.
We had talked about marriage on and off. Timing was always wrong. Career moves, didn't feel it was really quite the time. He always told me he would let me know. 21 was always the magic number. That's what he would say, you know, when I was 21. He felt that was the right age and nothing below because it was still young. And he was, you know, you have to remember he was, he was a good 10 and a half years older than myself. So 21 was a magic number for him. And then when it became around that time, you know, he'd say to me that the time was right, that he felt that we should be married.
Colonel Parker said, well, we got to do it in Vegas, okay? Because we can go over there, get the license, and get married right away. In California, you had to wait like 2 or 3 weeks before you have to get the license to get married. So if you do that, automatically they know Elvis is getting married, so the press would find out about it.
Oh my gosh. First of all, it had to be the best kept secret. No one knew anything about it. There was going to be a November date. We canceled that out. It was too close to Christmas, and so we decided on May.
And the gentleman that owned the Aladdin Hotel at that time was a good friend of the Colonel's. Milton Prell, that's his name, Milton Prell. And a very nice man, because he owned the Sahara before that, and we used to go hang out there too. So he said, listen, we'll do it, Milton Prell said, listen, we'll do it in my suite instead of doing it out in public and somewhere. So that's how it was all set up with that. And so we decided to do it there, and he made sure everybody kept quiet about it, didn't tell anybody about it. They arranged a big reception after for all the friends and everything too.
And trying to find a wedding dress, that was a big decision, how I was going to do it without anyone recognizing me.
People were hearing rumors that Elvis and Priscilla were getting married. Apparently she had a wedding dress made, okay? So that got out real quick.
So there was a lot of anticipation before the wedding. Who was going to do his suit, how we were going to do it and keep our faces, out of the public eye.
So what happened, we planned that everybody get to meet in Palm Springs. Elvis had a house in Palm Springs. So we all decided to all go to Palm Springs, and then he had his family and father and his wife and different people fly in from Memphis. And I put them all in a hotel in Palm Springs. So
we did it all very, very privately. My parents were called in at the last minute. Obviously, I let them know and told them when they would be, coming. We had them come to Palm Springs to meet up with us. That's where we were staying at the time.
Naturally, the press came to Palm Springs because they figured, hey, he's going to get married here.
Frank Sinatra had lent us his plane.
For Elvis, Priscilla, myself, George Klein, and my wife, Joan.
So everybody, you know, very discreetly and very privately were coming into Palm Springs, and there was word or rumor that there might possibly be a marriage. Rona Barrett was the first, at that time, gossip columnist that was there on the scene, thinking and feeling that there was something going on. She was tipped off.
Middle of the night, we go out the back, over our back fence in our backyard of this house we had rented. There's 2 cars sitting back there out there waiting for us. Took us to the airport. We get on the plane. We fly to Las Vegas. The hotel security was waiting for us, and the police were there waiting. We get in the car, go right to the marriage license in downtown Las Vegas.
We had a party the night before at our home in Palm Springs, drinking champagne as a celebration before we got married. So none of us slept, that's for sure. We stayed up all night long because we were afraid. We wanted to get to get our marriage license right away before it opened up. So that was all prearranged.
And we go up there and sign all the papers, and Elvis didn't have money to pay for the damn license. Luckily, I have money in my pocket, so I pay for the license. And I said, now you owe me one, Elvis. He said, you got it. So
we snuck into Vegas early in the morning and got our marriage license, and then went right to the Aladdin Hotel. Both of us extremely nervous. Elvis extremely nervous. You know, and it didn't happen fast, but it did happen fast because we had to get in and get out of Vegas very quickly before it turned into a circus. And that was the one thing that we did not want, and that was a circus around our marriage. We thought that was our time together, so everyone around was pretty much protecting us in that date.
So we go back to the hotel, and everybody rests a little bit, and Elvis goes in his suite, had separate naturally because you're not supposed to see each other when you get dressed and all that stuff. So and I took a bunch of pictures at that time during getting ready and all that stuff, and dressed in the tuxedos and all of us getting dressed, and I was Elvis's best man at the time, co-best man at the time. So got that all set up, and then we went into Milton Prell's suite and had the wedding ceremony right there.
We didn't have that many people coming in from Memphis because we felt that the more word had gotten out, then obviously that would be destroyed. So Colonel Parker arranged it for the Aladdin Hotel and through Milton Prell at the time. And we had a private suite. We had a judge perform the marriage.
We all set up there. We had the wedding ceremony. You saw a lot of pictures from that, I'm sure you have over the years.
It was very surreal. I'll be honest with you. It happened quickly only because, it had to, obviously. I was in one room and got dressed. He never saw me, so it was quite traditional in that way. I had never saw him and what he looked like, so we kept that very special.
And it was very, very exciting. But the funny thing about it, I thought Elvis would be a nervous wreck. He wasn't. He was very comfortable with it.
I look back now and it was hard to believe that it was happening. I had been with him for quite a few years, 8 years.
He wasn't nervous. Priscilla was a nervous wreck. She was just nervous as could be.
I would definitely say it was the happiest day of my life.
And then after the ceremony, naturally they hugged and kissed, and it was great. And I was very honored to be one of Elvis's best men at his wedding. I mean, there's one thing I will always remember all my life, that I was Elvis Presley's best man. It's just amazing to me when I think about it. So after that, there was a little press conference. See, before the wedding, Colonel, I know he had somebody call the newspapers and television stations to say, Elvis and Priscilla are getting married right now, and if you want to do a press conference, come to the Aladdin Hotel.
It's certainly, for me, I wasn't as hidden as I was before. I was able to be more open. I literally, kept my life very private. No one really knew who I was. Rumors were about and around, obviously, that I was dating and that we were together for a long time. But it was more to protect him, and that fear wasn't going to be there to stop his career at all.
I didn't have to give a speech because I was the best man, okay? It was basically just being ourselves and just having a good time. Like I say, it was the media group. I think if it was a big wedding, maybe you would do something like that. But it was just an immediate little group, and it was fun, and it went real well. And Rona Barrett was very upset, the reporter from Hollywood, that she didn't catch us. She was in the wrong city at the time, but her, Rona Bear, and I are still friends, so it doesn't matter. And it was very nice. It was very exciting. And then, after that, we spent a couple of days in Palm Springs. We went back to Memphis. Then Elvis had a big reception at his house at Graceland for all his family members and friends from Memphis. They had a big party there. They were in she was in a wedding dress, and Elvis was in his tuxedo. Had a nice little party for them at the house, and that was fun too. It was really nice.
Priscilla never had the opportunity to be a proper wife. She always had exterior forces that were guiding what she did and guiding what Elvis did. Elvis became a machine towards the last 3 or 4 years of his life, just churning out concert after concert. He couldn't stop from doing it. He needed the money. The Colonel needed the money. He had an entourage of people that needed wages. He was running a small airline. Towards the end of Priscilla's marriage to Elvis, she had designs to do things herself. She wanted to get into modeling. She wanted to get into entertainment. And she had her own, she started to live her own life, and she did have one particular affair with a karate instructor. Now, the fans must have been quite horrified by that. They were quite horrified by that. They weren't happy when Elvis got married. They were certainly not happy when she deserted Elvis in their minds. And when they found out that she'd had an affair, she was the one that caused the problems. No one took it on board that it might have been Elvis's fault that things went wrong.
Even before Elvis got married, we always were partying all the time. I mean, even when he was dating Priscilla and they were engaged and everything, we didn't stop partying. And after Elvis got married, we still didn't stop partying. I mean, he was good for about 3 or 4 months after he got married, and things just went on the way it was the old days. And then Priscilla, got pregnant, and Lisa Marie and everything, and so we were a bad bunch of boys. I'll put it that way. It's very simple. We were a bad bunch of partying boys.
With this ring, I take you this day,
and
for all days,
as
my husband.
Having
witnessed your vows before God and this family, and reaffirming what you have already done 25 years ago, I once again pronounce you as husband and wife. You may kiss your bride. Would you take your bouquet, please? Mick and Judith, may God continue to bless you, to keep you, and to make His face to shine upon you, and may He again continue to give you a great and wonderful life together. Please walk the aisle once again as husband and wife.
As one declaration of love in the Graceland Chapel ends, another begins. This is the moment Sue and Tommy have dreamed about.
Finally here. We went to Nashville yesterday, and we got separate coaches back home. So Sue went to Tunica, I came back to the Artisan, and just shut myself in the room, and that was it. Just very frightened really, but glad to see these friendly faces here, which is making me a lot calmer. Sorry?
Turn round a bit. I hope they're knocking some money off at the cost.
I don't know what to expect or anything, I haven't a clue.
Hi, how are you?
Fine, thank you.
Thank you. What are we doing with the 10 carnations?
We'll give them to the bridesmaids.
Okay,
best man, bridesmaids, and whoever's available after that.
I'll let you.
Sorry, somebody's wanted to get here, but I've had a problem with my suit.
Oh, it looks fine. I'll let you pass those out since you know who's supposed to get them.
They're not cut them. You're not cut them?
You just said 10 single carnations.
Yeah, yeah.
You want them cut?
Yeah, so they could pin them on.
Oh, okay. I know we got some scissors. They're with today. All 10 of them?
Yes, please.
And are you the groom?
Yes, I am.
I'm the minister. Nice to meet you. David Bayer.
The chapel was built in 2000, and the reason that the chapel was built in 2000, we had so many fans coming to Graceland that wanted to get married, and there was no place for them to marry. So they were marrying out by the gate, or they would get on the grounds of Graceland somewhere by a tree and marry. And so eventually Graceland said, let's build a chapel so they have a place to marry. And that's how it started. Our typical wedding would be, their chapel time is an hour and a half. They arrive here and the bride goes to the bridal room and she prepares to get ready for the ceremony. And the groom comes in the chapel, and I get to meet the groom usually first. He's the first one I meet.
Glad you're with us today. Are you nervous?
I'm very nervous, yeah.
Well, now don't be. We're going to get you through it, let me tell you.
Well, I've never had time for rehearsal or anything like that, so it's going to be...
Oh
dear.
We can get you through it. That'll be great.
And we chat a while, and I find out as much as I can about him.
Why just leave that on there? That'd look real good.
No, I have mixed emotions. Our best weddings probably are when we have just the couple or 3 or 4 in party, because this is a special time. It's just for this couple, and we want it to be special for them.
Would you please stand?
Susan, I'd like you to face each other. And would you hand your bouquet to your right maid of honor, please?
9 times out of 10, we have this said to us, it's been a lifelong dream to come to Graceland. And then, on top of that, they'll say our dream has been to come here and marry. And the thing that makes this particular chapel different than, say, the Vegas chapels, Graceland wants this to be kept with dignity. We don't like to just put a couple through a ceremony and out the door, because again, it's a very special time, and it should be a special time. And it's not I do, I will, and out the door you go and good luck. So they really make it special, and we want it to be special for our couples. We don't want it to be just a walk-through deal.
Dearly beloved, we are here in the sight of God and the presence of this company to join together this man and this woman in holy matrimony. It is commended of St. Paul in the Bible to be honorable among all men, and therefore it is not to be entered into unadvisedly or lightly, but reverent in the fear of God. Tommy and Susan, I would like you just to look into each other's eyes, and I ask you, Tommy, do you promise to love and to cherish, in sickness and in health, in prosperity and adversity, this woman who stands before you?
I do.
Do you promise to be to her in all things a true and faithful husband?
I do.
And do you promise to be with her and her only so long as you both shall live?
I do.
30th anniversary of Elvis' death, we have had an increase in couples coming here to Graceland to be married. We average 12 couples a month, and this month we've had 35 couples scheduled for the chapel.
And now by the authority vested in me as the minister of the gospel of Christ Jesus and by the state of Tennessee, I pronounce you husband and wife. Tommy, you may kiss your bride.
This couple today that I performed a ceremony for, this last couple, they're my 700th couple that I performed a wedding for in this chapel. So that's really neat. And then after the ceremony, they'll have cake in the chapel, and they have a toast and ginger ale and so forth.
Wait for your cue, wait for your cue.
Both at the same time. Go ahead. Oh, both of you feed each other at the same time. Go ahead. Open up. There you go. And then they leave and they come out here and have their pictures made. They go to the mansion. And when they go to the mansion, they have their pictures made on the steps up there. And then along the walkway here and out in front, and then at the altar in the chapel. And then they go for their dinner or their banquet or whatever they're going to have, you know. It's really neat. We meet the most wonderful people.
I believe I've been working with Tommy for almost a year now, and he kind of took the reins and as far as planning the wedding and organized everything. And we do anything and everything that we can to assist the couples, from getting hairdresser, flowers, cake, punch, you name it, whatever they want. We're do our best to be able to accommodate them.
The organiser, Patty Bennett, she's absolutely superb throughout.
Yes, she
The whole planning process was, she's very professional about it.
Yes,
and
she was.
Very straightforward about it, and when we got there, everything just went smoothly.
Same area.
Right now, very emotional.
Very emotional.
Emotional and very relieved that it's over. But it's very quick and easy. It was straightforward, really, and we'd just like to thank everybody for turning up and everybody involved in the wedding, everything, for such a great ceremony and a great day. Absolutely fantastic.
This is my last one with Tommy, settling down now in life. And hope we'll both be very happy.
Well, I'm not going to run up another Elvis fan.
Huh?
Got the one that I wanted.
Yeah.
The dreams come true now.
And I've got the one I wanted.
The dreams come true.
Elvis brought us together, didn't he? Yeah.
We first started to bring fans to the States in 1972, initially to see Elvis in concert. When he died in '77, we thought we would never bring fans ever again. But of course, we now bring more Elvis fans to the States than we ever did when he was alive. This year, we've brought 1,300 fans to the States. Now, the interesting thing is that Elvis fans like to share what they have with other Elvis fans. And that cuts right across the board. It's not only the affinity with the fans, but even, you know, people have met each other through being members of the Elvis Presley fan club. People have got engaged, people have got married. People now come to Memphis to get married. You know, at one time people used to go to Las Vegas, Elvis fans would go to Las Vegas to marry in the Elvis wedding chapels. But since Graceland have very cannily decided to have their own wedding chapel, this is where the Elvis fan wants to marry. And this is the future of the Elvis industry, I guess.
Knowing Elvis, he couldn't believe it. He couldn't believe this is happening. He really couldn't. But I mean, I feel he would feel really great, realizing if he's looking down from heaven right now, realizing all this love that he's got from these people around the world, that he didn't realize he had this much effect on people's lives. And because when you're on the inside, you don't see it from the outside. And all of us guys wouldn't believe it either. And he'd be very proud. Yeah, I think he'd be very proud of it.